Hello everybody, it is Super Xavier's sister, Alee. Today I'm going to be telling you why you need to watch Hamilton right now. I'm basically going to kind of lay out the story of it. And also, you can listen to the entire soundtrack on YouTube, and there isn't anything that isn't singing. So basically, um, it's this really beautiful story. So there's Aaron Burr, and Alexander Hamilton. This is kind of like this feud, love-hate relationship. And so basically, we start off where Alexander Hamilton, his life's going really bad. Let me just his father left him and his mother when he was, I think, 10, and then when he was 12, his mom died, and then he moved in with a cousin, and the cousin committed suicide. So sorry, I'm gonna say so many song lyrics in this, and so now he's like, oh my god, my life is like terrible. So he's like, but he's like, you know what? He's really determined to make a name for himself. He started like, but he wants to get a good education so he can move up in the world. So actually I'm gonna show you Alexander. This guy is Alexander Hamilton. This guy is Alexander Hamilton, and he's the main character. This is also the guy who wrote the play. So basically, then a hurricane comes. Like their entire town is like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like now Hamilton's like, what little he had is now destroyed. But he writes this thing, right? This like really really good, like I think it was a poem or something. And then everyone's like, oh crap, this dude's legit, right? So they all pooled their money and they sent him to New York. And then he meets Aaron Burr. Now Aaron Burr's very soft spoken, and Aaron Burr always wants to be liked. Like so he never states what, no one knows what his opinions are on anything because he's too afraid to say them, because he knows half of the people are gonna love him but half of the people are gonna hate him. So he would rather just act like he doesn't have an opinion on anything. So he meets Hamilton. Hamilton went to I think Hamilton went to Princeton. But basically, Aaron Burr graduated from Princeton in 2 years. I don't know what's going on with Hamilton's college, but basically, he punched one of Aaron Burr's friends, so he wanted to meet him, and because he was like, oh my god, you're so cool. Like, you graduated in 2 years. How'd you do that? And then Aaron Burr's like, and Hamilton's very extra a lot of the time. He's very outspoken. And Aaron Burr's like, you know what, you need to stop saying your opinions all the time, or else you're gonna get you're gonna get shot. Like, so because back in that time, people had very very strong opinions about their opinions, like, so basically. But Hamilton's like, you know what, screw you, like, I'm gonna keep saying my opinions. And then he meets Hercules Mulligan, John Lawrence, and Marquis de Lafayette, and they're all his friends, and they're all like, whoa, this dude's awesome, like, he's so good at like all these things, and like he's so cool, and like we like how he's kind of extra, and so basically John Lawrence wants to start the first Black Battalion, and Hercules Mulligan, he is a tailor's apprentice, and he wants to like move up in the world, but right now he's just like sews things up and stuff. And then Marquis de Lafayette, he's very like he's a very good like soldier, and he's French. He's an immigrant from France. So they're all like chilling together, story of tonight, yeah. They're all like raising a toast to everything. And then we meet the Schuyler sisters. Now the Schuyler sisters are the daughters of a very prominent and powerful man, Philip Schuyler. They're very rich, and everyone in town is kind of like, oh, I want to be with them because then I'm going to be rich too, because everyone's kind of poor. And the Schuyler sisters are very like, they Angelica's like the sassy one, Eliza's like the very sweet one, and then Peggy is kind of like, she's the little sister. Peggy ends up, no one really knows what happens to Peggy. Peggy just goes and dies. After that, we have Farmer Refuted, which is one of the songs, which basically nothing really exciting happens there. They're basically just dissing this British dude. And then we see the King of Britain. And so these guys want to, like Marquis de Lafayette, like Hamilton, all those guys, they want to join the revolution. And the revolution is to make America separate from Britain, okay? But the British king is like, oh, like this, like, no, please just don't leave our colony because then we're gonna have less power over the world and stuff. But the Americans are like, nah, you kind of suck. So they start the American Revolution, and so at the start of the American Revolution, oh my God, America is dying. Like they are failing so hard. George Washington is leading everything. And George Washington is like, I can't do this alone. Like everyone's kind of sucking right now. Where's George Washington? Where's George Washington? Oh, let me just show you what these guys look like. So, Alexander Hamilton looks like that. Lafayette. This is Lafayette. Actually, yeah, just a lot of, yeah. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, right hand man. So he's like, oh my God, I can't do this alone. This like, George Washington's like, I'll have to surrender. And then he's like, I need someone to help me. And then Aaron Burr's like, hey, dude, like, he's like, you know what? I think that what you're doing is really good. I think that I could help you. Like, let me help you. And then he's like, honestly, screw off, Burr. Like, no one likes you. And then he calls Hamilton in because Hamilton stole British cannons. And he's like, Hamilton, I need some help. Like, can you help me out? And then Hamilton's like, oh my God, yeah, this is awesome. But Hamilton finds out that he's just gonna be like helping with strategy. He's not gonna be fighting, and that Hamilton doesn't like that. But like, he's like, whatever. And then we go into Helpless, which is basically so at this winter's ball, everyone's like drooling over the Schuyler sisters, right? And then Hamilton and Angelica and Eliza both fall in love with Hamilton. And Hamilton likes Angelica first, but Angelica's like, you know what? No, he's better for my sister, but I'm just gonna be super sad. So he goes and he meets Eliza, and then they get married. Ta-da! All the bros are like chill, hanging out, and like they're so happy. But Angelica's like really sad about it, but she's like, you know what? My sister at least is gonna be happy. And then we find out why Burr's like so soft spoken because because he's the only thing in life that he can control. So like if he can't control anything else, so then why is there a point of like risking his life over it? And then there's this dude, no one really likes him. His name is Charles Lee. He's very, very annoying. He's like so he's like he just George Washington hired him to like be second in command, and he just makes the soldiers retreat all the time. And then eventually George Washington's like, honestly, I've had enough of this dude. Like, whatever, let's just stop. And so then Charles Lee is like telling everyone how much George Washington sucks, and George Washington is like, Hamilton, don't do anything about it, but Hamilton's super extra. So him and John Lawrence go and they duel him, and 10 dual commandments. And then at the end of that, John Lawrence shoots Lee in the side. And then and so George Washington's really, really mad at Hamilton. He tells him to go home. And then we find out Eliza is pregnant with baby Philip. So she's like, come on, please just stay. And then Hamilton's like, oh, I don't know. But he decides, like, you know, I'll stay for now. But then we find out that they need Hamilton back because, like, they're kind of losing without Hamilton. Lafayette's, come on, you have to get him back. Because they're winning the war, but not by a lot. So then George Washington is like, okay, you know what? Honestly, Hamilton, you just have to understand, like, I'm sorry for making you go home. Please come back, and like, it'll only be for a little bit. We'll just make them surrender really quick. And then after that, 1 second. After that, Hamilton goes back, and Eliza's like, what the heck? So, and Eliza's like kind of sad about it. But like, Eliza's so nice. So she's like, okay, whatever, you can go. And then they defeat the British in the Battle of Yorktown. And so now America is separate from Britain. And they're like so happy. And then King George is like super salty. And he's like, okay, congratulations, like you're free. But like, what is happening? What are you gonna do now? And then and then they're like, you know what, we're gonna run this country and we're gonna start a new nation. And then Hamilton has his baby son Philip, and Burr also has a daughter named Theodosia because Burr there's this lady named Theodosia who's married to a British soldier that he started dating in secret, and then he accidentally got her pregnant, and then she had a baby named Theodosia. So he was singing like so they were talking about how much they love him, and then John Lawrence dies, and everyone was so sad, and um and obviously Hamilton's like, you know, I just have to push through this because Hamilton's so focused on like making a name for himself, and so he becomes a lawyer with Burr, and Hamilton's very extra as he is in everything, but lawyer is very like business like with his lawyerness, and then Hamilton's like, come on, you have to help me write the Constitution, right? Fix the Constitution, Burr. And then Burr's like, you know what, no way. And like, because Burr's like so afraid of sharing his opinion to the world. So then Hamilton teams up with, I think it was James Madison and John Jay. And they all wrote the 85 essays, and Hamilton wrote 51 of them, defending the Constitution. And so everyone was like, damn, this dude like deserves some mad respect. And then Thomas Jefferson comes back. So Thomas Jefferson was in France, and then he comes back. And then James Madison, and he's from Virginia. And Hamilton's like making this new financial plan that's gonna kind of like affect the South because the South doesn't have any debt, but New York and like all those Western states, they have a lot of debt. And everyone's like, and so him and James Madison are like, we have to stop this dude. So they go. So Hamilton's now the secretary of. Sorry, he's the treasury. No. Jefferson's secretary of state, and then 1 second. And then Hamilton runs the Treasury Department. So then they have this little like battle, and Hamilton's like, well, you have the only reason why you guys aren't in debt is because you don't pay for labor because you have slaves over there. And then I'm not really sure. It didn't really say who won that, but I think Hamilton did because his financial no, Jefferson kind of did because everyone started not liking Hamilton's plan. And then so Hamilton had to like work really, really, really hard, and he's like, and Angelica and Eliza want to go to uptown. Sorry, they want to go upstate to their father's like lake house or something. They want to go there, and they want to take Hamilton. Then Hamilton's like, I have to get my plan through Congress, like, and I have to stay behind. Then Eliza and Angelica are like, oh my God, come on, but he still doesn't budge. And then Hamilton cheats on his wife with Maria Reynolds, which like everyone like obviously like poor Eliza's upstate, and then Hamilton's cheating with Maria Reynolds. But then Maria Reynolds, her husband finds out, and then he's like, you know, I won't tell your wife, and I'll let you keep seeing my wife if you give me $1,000. And then, which is like a lot back then. And he's like, and I was like, okay, fine. So he gives him the money, and then oh my God, it's just so crazy. And then Philip Schuyler, the old one, not the baby one. He loses his job because Aaron Burr ran against him and he won. So now Hamilton's like, what's wrong? Like, what the heck? You just ran against my father-in-law. So he's so mad. And then there's another cabinet battle because France is now starting a revolution, and Jefferson wants the Americans to like help them because they helped because the French helped the Americans during the war. And then but Hamilton's like, no, we're already such a poor country right now. We have like, come on. And so he ends up winning. And then we find out George Washington is stepping down, and he isn't running for president anymore. And like he's just stepping down from president. And then and that you know how Thomas Jefferson was Secretary of State? Well, now he's stepping down from being Secretary of State, and just so he can run for president. And when he runs for president, he ends up coming in second because John Adams wins, and it was like, and John Adams like fired Hamilton, and like Hamilton was so mad at him, it was crazy, and that was like crazy. But then they find the guys that Madison, Burr, and Jefferson all team up, and they find like things that the money that he was paying to Mariah Reynolds' husband. They find that money, but they don't know that he's been cheating. So they're like, "Oh, you've been like stealing money or whatever." And then he ends up telling them so that they wouldn't think that he stole money. And then he's like, "Oh shoot, these guys hate me. They're gonna like tell this to the world." So he ends up telling it to the world. Angelica's like, "What is wrong?" Angelica's so mad. Then Eliza is so sad, like this poor girl. And then Philip Schuyler, the one that is Hamilton's kid, now he's like 19, and there's this dude, George Eaker, who is talking smack about Hamilton, like his dad. Philip's dad, and Philip's like, "Oh my," and Philip's like, "I'm gonna duel him, like he's gonna pay for this." And then he ends up killing Philip. George Eager ends up killing Philip, and then so now they're Eliza and Hamilton are so sad, and they move, and they're just like so sad. But then Eliza ends up forgiving him again, and after that, it's the election of 1800. Now, in the election of 1800, because John Adams kind of sucked as president, so now Thomas Jefferson is running for president against Aaron Burr. So Aaron Burr ends up coming in second, and Thomas Jefferson ends up winning. And then Thomas Jefferson establishes this new law where like the president gets to choose their vice president, and so now Burr's really mad. And but Burr isn't mad at Jefferson; he's mad at Hamilton because Hamilton told the world like, "I actually like Jefferson better, even though Jefferson and I had different opinions. I would rather have a president that has different opinions than me than a president that doesn't have any opinions." So then now Burr's like done with Hamilton. He's like, "We're gonna duel, okay?" And then we find out that Hamilton's going to this duel, and he goes, and Hamilton dies at the duel. And then yeah, that's how it pretty much ends. And then you have who lives, who dies, who tells your story is the best. But yeah, now that you know all that, watch Hamilton. Bye. Like that's all you need to do. Just watch Hamilton. Okay, how do I get back to the OBS? Okay, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Bye guys.